We've all been there. That moment when someone asks for a favor and despite the little voice in our head screaming no, we find ourselves nodding in agreement. It's a universal experience, one that often leaves us feeling conflicted and overwhelmed. Saying yes when we really meant no. It's a simple phrase, but the implications can be profound. We might think we're being kind or helpful, but often we're setting ourselves up for stress and disappointment. For me, it was agreeing to organize yet another community event. I had already taken on so much, but the thought of letting someone down was unbearable. So I said yes, even though I knew it would stretch me thin. My schedule was already overflowing. Every day was a juggling act, trying to balance work, family, and personal commitments. Adding another responsibility felt like adding a weight to an already heavy load. But the guilt of potentially disappointing someone led me to overcommit. I didn't want to be seen as unreliable or unhelpful. So, I kept saying yes, even when it was to my own detriment. The result? Burnout, resentment, and a feeling of being utterly depleted. I was running on empty and it was starting to show in every aspect of my life. My energy levels were low, and my enthusiasm for the things I once loved was waning. I was so busy taking care of everyone else's needs that I neglected my own. My health, my hobbies, and my happiness all took a back seat. I was living for others, and in the process, I was losing myself. This experience was a wake-up call. It forced me to confront the reality of my choices and the impact they were having on my well-being. I realized that I needed to make a change, not just for my sake, but for the sake of those around me. It made me realize the importance of setting healthy boundaries. I had to learn to say no, to prioritize my own needs, and to recognize that it was okay to put myself first sometimes. It wasn't about being selfish, it was about being sensible. It was time to reclaim my time, my energy, and ultimately, my well-being. I started to carve out moments for myself, to do the things that recharged me and brought me joy. Whether it was a quiet walk in nature or a few minutes of meditation, these small acts of self-care made a big difference. Saying yes to everything and everyone might seem like the kind thing to do. We often believe that by agreeing to every request we're being generous and supportive, but in reality, we're often sacrificing our own well-being in the process. However, it often comes at a cost to our own mental and physical health. The constant pressure to please others can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments. It's a heavy price to pay for the sake of being agreeable. We convince ourselves that we're being helpful and responsible. We take pride in our ability to juggle multiple tasks and to be there for everyone. But in reality, we're stretching ourselves too thin, and the quality of our contribution starts to suffer. The more we take on, the less effective we become. Our productivity drops, our stress levels rise, and we start to feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of our commitments. This pattern of overcommitment can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments. Our bodies and minds are not designed to handle constant pressure without adequate rest and recovery. Ignoring this can have serious consequences for our health. We might even start to resent the very people we're trying to please. The joy of helping others can quickly turn into a burden when we feel unappreciated or taken for granted. This resentment can strain our relationships and leave us feeling isolated. It's essential to understand that saying no is not selfish. It's a necessary act of self-preservation. By setting boundaries, we're not only protecting our own well-being but also ensuring that we can be truly present and effective when we do choose to help. It's about recognizing our limits and prioritizing our well-being. It's about understanding that we have a finite amount of time and energy, and we need to use it wisely. By taking care of ourselves, we can better take care of others. It's about acknowledging that we can't pour from an empty cup. We need to fill our own cup first, to ensure that we have the resources to give to others. By doing so, we can create a healthier, more balanced life for ourselves and those we care about. Without healthy boundaries, we risk becoming overwhelmed and emotionally drained, losing our sense of self. We may find ourselves constantly giving without receiving in return, feeling unappreciated. This imbalance can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. Imagine a bank account. Every time we say yes to something we don't truly want, we're making a withdrawal from our energy reserves. Without setting limits and saying no when needed, we risk depleting our account completely, leaving us drained. Furthermore, a lack of boundaries can impact our relationships negatively. When we consistently prioritize others' needs above our own, we send the message that our time and energy are not valuable. This can lead to feelings of being taken advantage of and unappreciated, eroding our self-worth. It's crucial to remember that we teach people how to treat us through our actions. By setting clear boundaries, we communicate our needs and expectations effectively. This, in turn, fosters healthier and more respectful relationships, benefiting everyone involved. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's a powerful declaration that we value ourselves and our well-being. When we set boundaries, we are telling the world that we understand our worth and are committed to protecting it. It's about recognizing our worth and valuing our own needs as much as we value the needs of others. This recognition is crucial because it forms the foundation of how we interact with the world. When we know our worth, we are less likely to accept treatment that undermines our self-esteem. It's about honoring our physical, emotional, and mental limits. By acknowledging these limits, we can avoid burnout and maintain a healthier, more balanced life. Taking breaks and engaging in activities that rejuvenate us are essential practices in this regard. When we establish clear boundaries, we're essentially drawing a line in the sand. This line represents our personal space and the respect we demand from others. It's a visual and mental reminder of our commitment to ourselves. This line signifies what we will and will not tolerate. It's a clear message to others about our expectations and the standards we uphold. By doing this, we create a safe space for ourselves where we can thrive without fear of being overstepped. It's a way of protecting our energy, our time, and our emotional well-being. In a world that constantly demands our attention, setting boundaries helps us conserve our resources for what truly matters. It allows us to recharge and be more present in our daily lives. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish or unkind. It's about self-care and ensuring that we are in the best position to support others. By taking care of ourselves first, we can be more effective and compassionate in our interactions. It's about taking care of ourselves so that we can show up more fully for the people and commitments that truly matter to us. When we are well-rested and emotionally balanced, we can give our best to our loved ones and our responsibilities. Remember, saying no to something doesn't mean you're rejecting the person making the request. It's about setting priorities and ensuring that you are not overextending yourself. This clarity helps maintain healthy relationships and mutual respect. It simply means you're prioritizing your own needs and well-being at that moment. By doing so, you are making a conscious choice to honor yourself. This practice of self-prioritization is essential for long-term happiness and fulfillment. It's about making conscious choices that align with your values and goals. When our actions reflect our true selves, we live more authentically and with greater purpose. Setting boundaries is a vital step in this journey of self-respect and personal growth. Mastering the art of saying no can feel daunting at first, especially if you're used to people-pleasing. It's a skill that many of us struggle with, often because we fear disappointing others or being perceived as rude. However, learning to say no is essential for maintaining your own well-being and ensuring that your time and energy are spent on things that truly matter to you. Start by practicing with smaller requests. This can help build your confidence and make it easier to say no when it really counts. For instance, if a colleague asks you to take on a minor task that you don't have time for, politely decline. A simple, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I won't be able to make it," can suffice. This response is polite and to the point, and it shows appreciation for the offer while still setting a clear boundary. Remember, you don't always need to provide a lengthy explanation. Often, a brief and honest response is enough. Over-explaining can sometimes lead to unnecessary justifications and even manipulation from others. A polite and firm no is enough. It's important to be clear and assertive in your communication. This not only helps you maintain your boundaries but also sets a precedent for how you expect to be treated. Over-explaining can sometimes lead to unnecessary justifications and even manipulation from others. When you provide too much information, it opens the door for others to question your reasons and try to persuade you otherwise. When faced with more persistent requests, it's helpful to have a few go-to phrases ready. These can be simple statements that you feel comfortable using in various situations. For example, "I appreciate you asking, but I'm already committed to other plans," or "I'm not taking on any new projects right now, but I'll keep you in mind for the future," can be effective. These phrases are polite yet firm, and they make it clear that you have other priorities. It's also helpful to practice these responses in front of a mirror or with a friend so that they come naturally when you need them. Or, "I'm not taking on any new projects right now, but I'll keep you in mind for the future," can be effective. The key is to be assertive and clear in your communication. This not only helps you maintain your boundaries, but also sets a precedent for how you expect to be treated. The key is to be assertive and clear in your communication. Avoid using wishy-washy language like maybe or I'll try. These phrases can create confusion and make it easier for others to push you into commitments you don't want to make. Avoid using wishy-washy language like maybe or I'll try. This only creates confusion and increases the likelihood of you getting roped into something you don't want to do. Being clear and direct is not only more respectful to yourself but also to the person making the request. This only creates confusion and increases the likelihood of you getting roped into something you don't want to do. It's important to be honest with yourself and others about your limits and priorities. Finally, remember that setting boundaries is an ongoing process. It takes practice, patience, and self-compassion. There will be times when you slip up or give in to pressure. That's okay. What's important is that you recognize it and learn from the experience. It takes practice, patience, and self-compassion. There will be times when you slip up or give in to pressure. That's okay. Give yourself grace and keep practicing. The more you assert your boundaries, the easier and more natural it will become. There will be times when you slip up or give in to pressure. That's okay. Give yourself grace and keep practicing. The more you assert your boundaries, the easier and more natural it will become. Give yourself grace and keep practicing. The more you assert your boundaries, the easier and more natural it will become. Over time, you'll find that saying no becomes second nature and you'll feel more empowered and in control of your life. The more you assert your boundaries, the easier and more natural it will become. Remember, saying no is not about being selfish, it's about respecting your own needs and limits. By mastering the art of saying no, you can create a more balanced and fulfilling life.